Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, The Australian Academy. My name is Rachna Gupta and I am the CELPIP certified instructor. I have been providing online classes for CELPIP and IELTS. So if you need any help related to CELPIP classes or practice material, you can WhatsApp me on this number. Okay, so in today's video, I will be specifically talking about what happens on the CELPIP examination day. And there are 11 most important things that you need to keep in mind. So whenever you are going to appear for the exam, you go there with full confidence. Okay, so let's talk about these 11 points. The first we have, that is 4 modules in one day. So just keep in mind all the 4 modules, listening, reading, writing and speaking, all the 4 modules are conducted the same day. You need not to visit the examination center again, as it happens in IELTS examinations. So in IELTS examinations, you have like listening, reading and writing back to back. However, for speaking, you might have to visit again some other day or might be the same day after the exam. But here in CELPIP, all the 4 modules are conducted all together, and the sequence of the modules is also important. So the sequence, first you have listening, following reading, writing, and at the end you get speaking. Okay, the second I'm going to talk about is, that is the most important part, one part extra in listening and reading. Now the students get confused, they get quite panicked on the examination day when they realize that they are getting something extra. So what they have been trained is, in listening they'll be getting 6 parts, in reading they'll be getting 4 parts. However, what happens when they reach to the examination center, they realize instead of 6 they are getting 7 parts in listening, 5 in reading. So yes, it happens. In listening you will be getting 1 part extra. That 1 part extra can be of any random part. Might be what happens, you are taking your listening part 1, part 2, part 3 again, then part 4, 5 and 6. It might be part 4 twice, it might be part 6 twice. That is the same thing in reading. Okay, any of the part is repeated, right? Now the next thing that you have to make sure is, whatever the part is repeated, you do not know which is the unscored part. In listening, if I get part 1 twice, so out of these part 1, I do not know which one is scored and unscored. So I have to attempt both of the parts with my 100% concentration and presence of mind. Right? And now the question arises, why do like CELPIP have these kind of unscored items? So these are prepared for the development purpose of the CELPIP organization. So whatever the new test module they are preparing to present in the real exam, they just have it a checking process beforehand. So they present the same topic in the examination conditions but as an unscored item, and when they verify the authenticity of that questions and all, like whatever the things are related to the question, the modules, then the present is there in the real exam after that. Okay, but make sure you will be having 1 plus 1 part extra, so be prepared for that. And sometimes I have heard from many of my students that what happens is they get 2 parts extra in listening and nothing extra in reading, or vice versa. Okay, so keep yourself flexible, keep your mind open for these also. These kind of things might happen in your exam, extra parts which are unscored. So don't bother about it, just go for the exam with full concentration. Okay, the third we have is time. So time cannot be adjusted or carried forwarded. So in CELPIP, what happens, each and every question, each and every part is individually timed. Let's say if it is listening, so in listening part 1 and 2, in 1 to 3 parts, all the questions come one after another, and for each question you get 30 seconds to answer. Right, then part 4 to 6 are again, these are the timed sections. When I come to reading part 1 is for 11 minutes, part 2 is for 8 minutes, 3 is for 9 minutes and part 4 is for 12 minutes. So if let's say I was doing part 1, that is for 10 minutes, I completed part 1 in 8 minutes. So what happens with these 2 minutes? Will I be getting these 2 minutes extra later on in any other module of listening? No, that is not the case. If you are finishing up your modules, if you are finishing up your parts very early, make sure you'll come out of the examination center early. However, that remaining time can never be adjusted or carry forwarded to other modules. So always focus on time and just try to utilize maximum time that is assigned to that particular question or the part. Because see, I don't think so there is any benefit of coming out of the examination center early. Why? Because we want the result in hand. Okay. The next is no extra item in writing. In writing only you get 2 tasks, task 1 and task 2. Task 1 is for 27 minutes, task 2 is for 26 minutes. So if you complete your task 1 early, let's say out of 27, you complete it in 20 minutes. So that those 7 minutes will not be added in any other part. So you will just come out of examination center 7 minutes early. Next is in speaking, there is a 0 question. And why do I call it a 0 question? Because in speaking, actually you get 8 parts, part 1 to part 8, and all these 8 parts are the scored items. But before you are going to start with the speaking, there is one question. Generally that question is talk about your best friend. Could be different also, but this is what generally happen. Talk about your best friend. That is a 0 question. Why? Because this is unscored. So don't consider if this is unscored, you need not to speak it. I always suggest you, in fact the Paragon also, they suggest you to speak for it. Why? It is necessary for you to speak because the speaking is the last module. Before speaking, you have been working for your listening, reading and writing, and you were silent. You were not speaking actually. And when you all of a sudden you start speaking after 3 hours, after 2.5 hours, your voice will not be as clear and louder as it should be. Okay, so this is an exercise, warm-up exercise for your throat muscles and for your lips also. So you feel comfortable and you come to your normal pace, you will come to your normal of speaking. So you can speak better and there is no confusion and there is no problem that if what happens if my answers are not recorded. Okay, so every time if your answers are not recorded, there will be an alert. So you just raise your hand, the invigilators will come over to your place and they will sort out that problem, whatever it is. So nothing to worry if my voice is not recorded. Yes, it must be getting recorded, and you can see there while you are speaking, behind that microphone sign there would be a bar that would raising up and down. So this is how you can understand whether your speaking is recorded or not. The next, this is again most important, no breaks are allowed. Yes, so CELPIP exam is for 3 hours and during that 3 hours you won't be getting any break. No break for water, no breaks for using washrooms. Right. Okay, and no water bottles are allowed inside the testing room or inside that examination hall. So let's say if I'm feeling thirsty, so what might happen? If I'm feeling thirsty, again I'll raise my hand. Examiner, that invigilator would come over to my place. They'll take me outside from the examination center. I'll take water, then they'll take me inside again. But during that timing, it might be taking 1 to 2 minutes, but for these 1 to 2 minutes, my exam would still be running. So there is no pause button over there. You cannot pause and you cannot resume from there. So the timing would be running. And that is the same thing if you want to use washroom. So it is always suggested when you are going for exam, just try to have your breakfast or your food, and whatever you are taking, make sure you won't feel thirsty for 3 hours and you won't feel like you want to go to washroom, because ultimately what happened, let's say if you were feeling thirsty, you'll be having an excuse after the examination centers, okay, like I was thirsty and I wasn't able to speak. So these all excuses are for yourself, not for someone else, because you might be receiving a low grade. So what is the fun of it? So be prepared for the exam accordingly. There are no breaks allowed. So next I will talk about pen and paper. So these are given. That is the most important concern that every test taker is having. So how will we making notes? Will we we have to take the pen papers along with us? No. You cannot carry anything from your own side. Pen and paper, they are provided, and they are provided in the examination center. Generally they give you one paper. Once that one paper is over from both sides, though you can raise your hand, invigilator again will come over to your place. They'll take the used paper back and they'll give you a new fresh sheet. Okay, so make sure you will be having the pen and paper provided inside the examination centers, and as soon as the exam is over they'll take it back. So you have to return it, pen and paper, to the examination center. You cannot take it home. Okay, but yes, these pen and paper, they are there with you for all the 4 modules from the beginning of the test till the end of the test. The next is test takers, they are speaking at the same time. So there might be a minor difference or like a little difference is there, but otherwise what happens if you are taking the maximum time of the modules and once you reach the speaking, probably your the test takers who are there or who are taking exam at the same time with you will also start speaking at the same time. So you will not be having that much of noise free environment. Though the headphones they are providing you over there, they are with the noise cancellation and all, but yes, you might get disturbed of the other's voice. So you cannot complain over there, okay, like I was getting disturbed and all. Make sure you practice the same thing at home before going for the real exam. So once you are taking your speaking and you are there in a classroom, that is the best place. You can work with other people, with other students. Otherwise, when you are at home, make sure when other people are speaking, they are talking, at that time you focus into your speaking and record your answers. So this gives you a very good exercise and you won't get confused or nervous in the real examination. Right? So next we have is self-management. Self-management means once the test is started, you move to the next module by yourself. So what will happen in the beginning, invigilators, they'll give you the instructors, like instructions, everything they'll tell you. If you have any doubt, not related to the question paper, but yes, again, any general doubt if you have, they will answer all your queries. And once they start the test for you, so once they have started, now they'll not be coming back to you again and again by the time you don't have any doubt. So once they started, and again they'll come over to you once the test is finished. So then you have the freedom of moving to the next question. Once your listening is over, you'll move to the reading, reading is over, you'll move to the writing, writing is over, you'll move to the speaking. So invigilators will not come back to you again and again. The timer would be there on your computer screen. Right, but make sure that you have to move to the next question and you don't waste your time like watching here and there or something. So this is what you have to, you can move, but there is no provision of going back to the previous question or going back to the previous part once it is completed. So once you click next, this is forever. Whether the time was left, let's say I was doing reading, I was at part 3. So part 3 is for 9 minutes. I completed it in 6 minutes. And as soon as completed, I clicked next. I go back, I move to the part 4. And once I'm there at part 4, I somewhere realized that I wanted to correct something. And I plan of moving back. So that is not possible. Though the time was remaining, but as soon as you click next, so this next is forever, you can never go back to the previous question. So make sure you use the complete time and there is no need of moving back to any previous screen. The next is locker is available. Okay, so in the examination center they'll having that locker facility. So if you are carrying any of your belongings, let's say you have your mobile with you, obviously you must be having your wallet, you must be wearing any wristwatch or any other like water bottle or something. So whatever you have, so they will assign a locker to you and you have to keep all your belongings in the locker except your passport. They will allow to take your passport inside the examination hall, nothing else. Okay, so make sure you don't carry any valuable item or something very expensive. If you are very fond of wearing accessories and all or something valuable, just try to keep it at home once you are going to appear for the exam center. So just keep the minimum things with you. Let's say if it is a key, car key or something, if it is your mobile or something like a few cash, that's it, nothing more than that. It is always advisable. That is in fact easy for the test like conductors also. Then the next is complaint before leaving the exam center. So what happens, I have come across many times students when they are taking the exam, they come across any kind of issues, might be any technical issue or something else, and later on they start complaining about it. Okay, but trust me, nobody will listen to your complaints if you are complaining once your results are released. So if you have any concern, if you have any problem or whatever, just try to complain to the examiners over there once your exam is over. So before leaving the exam center, if you are complaining, they might consider your complaint, but once it is over, in fact after 24 hours, they will never ever listen to your concerns, they will never ever listen to your complaints. So if you have anything, any concern, make sure you register your complaint then and there only. Okay, so and if I talk about the results are generally available after 3 or 5 working days. Generally, like it is after 3 working days you get your result in hand, but in any case scenario, if you want your result early, so you have to pay like $100 extra. So by paying $100 extra, you get your result within 24 hours. Now I'll talk about the preparation. So before you go for the real exam, you need any kind of preparation material or something. So you can visit this website. This is www.celpipchd.com. So you can register over there and you can get one free mock test available. And in fact, if you want to purchase more practice tests, so you can always contact us through website, through WhatsApp and other things. Okay. So I wish you all the best for your result and for your exam as well.